Oh, hello there. Welcome to the Nuvee Club podcast. My name is Big Mike Sanjamo, broadcasting live from somewhere on Long Island, and joining me, as always, the man with the master plan, Mr. Sanjay Singh, somewhere in the city. Sanjay, how are you?
I'm doing well, Big Mike. Doing well. So somewhat bright and happy on this gloomy, rainy day. How are you doing?
You're bright and happy on the gloomy day?
Trying to be somewhat. Trying to push through. Can you see the lying in my eyes?
Yes. Can you see the lying in my eyes? That's why I wear the glasses.
Okay.
What is the Nuvee Club podcast? People, they ask the question, they call me up late at night, they get me maybe early in the morning before I had a chance to get myself together, and they say, ring, ring, hey, Big Mike. What is the Nuvee Club podcast? Well, I tell them, me and Sanjay, we go a ways back, and we're just two guys. We like movies. We like talking about movies. We like making movies. We've done lots of different things in the film industry. Nothing you've seen, nothing you've heard of. And this isn't only that. It's a little bit more, but it's mostly that. And that is the Nuvee Club podcast. And thank you for joining us. We should write lyrics to that song. The first thing I notice is that my beard is a little darker than normal, and I'll tell you what happens. Anybody knows a big man knows that I color my beard. My beard turns, if it all turned bright white, I would just leave it, because that would be very, very advantageous once the holiday season rolls around. But the problem is something's going on where it doesn't all turn bright white. This turns bright white. It turns a little white in here, a little white over there. But this area, all in here, all stays like an auburn, like reddish, maybe a little golden. I'm sure over time it's going to all turn bright white, but it's not all bright white yet. So in order to try to maintain a look that's consistent, I have taken to coloring the beard. And I used to go to a salon to color the beard, the same salons where women get their hair colored, but I never found a salon that really hit the nail on the head when it came to the color. And then one day I started doing home products. Just for men never really worked for me, so I would go with the hair dye that women would use in their hair, and I found one shade that worked perfect for me, and I liked it, and I would buy it often, and it worked out. However, this last time, I bought it as part of a much larger order from Stop & Shop, because Stop & Shop sells lots of things, not only groceries. They also have these hair care products, and even though I ordered the one that was like light, warm brown, I guess the guy that picked up the box, or the girl that picked up the box, or whoever was doing the shopping that day, they didn't pick up the right box. I failed to see it when I saw the box, and there we go. This is a little darker. The shade that I normally get matches this. This is a little darker. So if I look ridiculous, it's not my fault. It's the
I was gonna say, you
Shop.
look like Wendy.
I thought I was turning you on. Stop trying to love me, Sanjay. How was your week?
It was busy, man. It was busy, but good. We are starting weekly meetups now in Lower Manhattan for any of the local creatives, whether you're an artist, whether you're a marketer, filmmaker, interested in any of our culture and what we do, at a different bar every Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Wait, where's it at now?
Interested,
the bar?
A different bar in Lower Manhattan every Thursday. So tomorrow we'll be at Vig Bar. And if you follow us on the Nuvee Club, you'll be able to find out which bar we'll be at for that particular week.
And if you're not following us on the Nuvee Club on the social medias, something's wrong with you. Because you want to know where these meetups are. I personally probably will never, ever be there because it's Manhattan. And unless I'm going to be in some sort of show or some sort of paying gig, there's a chance I might not be there. But you never know. Something might happen, and maybe I'll happen by. But
if enough people show
like
up and they request your presence, then you're going to have to show up. Then it's a show. Then it's a show for you.
Well, we're going to need names. We're going to need photographs of these people. Because now the videos are out there, so you never know what kind of people are going to be requesting the presence of the big man. But
yes, the PC Richard and son.
Yes, PC Richard and son. I had a busy week as well. Busy Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day weekend is a big weekend for the radio station group. We are the media sponsors for the Four Leaf Jones Beach Air Show, which used to be called Bethpage Air Show, but Bethpage, the bank, changed their name to Four Leaf. I don't know why. You don't know why. It doesn't really matter. No one really needs to know why. You just need to know that when you're talking about the Jones Beach Air Show, it's the four-leaf Jones Beach Air Show. But I was not at the air show. I had three, count them three, I'll say it one more time, three paid appearances. One at PC Richard & Son Belmore, one at PC Richard & Son Patchogue, and then I was at Millennium Toyota in Hempstead, and all three gigs I dressed like my patriotic character. You know him, you love him, Cousin Sam. Cousin Sam, because Uncle Sam's jacket don't fit. Turns out Cousin Sam's pants weren't doing too good neither. But it was a very busy weekend. It was a lot of fun, though.
It was, you had the right weather for it, too. It turned out to be a really beautiful weekend.
Yeah, Saturday was a little on the gloomy side. Sunday was better. Monday was the best. And the boat's not in the water yet, so it's not like I missed out on having a boat day, but it's coming soon, so...
Nice.
What did you create this week, Sanjay?
So on Saturday, we got together with some actors that I've worked with in the past.
Not me. I was not invited.
Nope, not for this particular project. But these are folks who have been featured in some shorts and some promotional videos we've featured on the Nuvee Club. And we created an 8-minute short film. We shot it in about 6 hours. So it was a very, very fast shoot. And it's a comedy. Comedy about the Nuku Ambassador Program. The unofficial origin of the Nuku Ambassador Program is what it's being heralded as. And it will be released next Wednesday, a week from today. So stay tuned for that project. It's going to be a good one.
And what's the total runtime of this short?
8 minutes.
An 8-minute short. You filmed it in 6 hours. And it is a comedy based on the Nuku Ambassador Program.
The unofficial origin story of the Nuku Ambassador Program.
The unofficial origin story of the Nuku Ambassador Program. Well, I don't want to miss it. I'll tell you that. And it's going to drop next week.
It's going to drop next week. I just finished editing it, so I'll be, doing some final revisions over the week and subtitles, polishing some things up. But it's cut. It's ready to go. And I don't think much will change.
How many people were in it?
Three actors, two young 20-somethings and guys, and another young 20-something woman.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Are they in love with me?
Not yet. They don't know about you yet.
What the hell's going on, Sanjay? Come on. Whenever you're doing any kind of projects, that's always going to be part of it. It's like the secondary goal.
Oh, actually, no. The woman, she did watch the podcast. She does love what we do. So, yeah. I would say
Cousin Sam videos. Then she'll really get on board. People love Cousin Sam.
Yeah. So you already have a fan there.
Yes, my fan. The best part of the Cousin Sam stuff was dating all the way back to when I first dressed up as a leprechaun for the radio station, I bought this leprechaun costume, and the hat it came with was this big, puffy, like foam deal. It was like 3 feet high, and I was taking pictures in it, and I was sending it around, and my buddy Greg, he's like, listen, the hat's all wrong. The hat's all wrong. So I went to another costume shop, and I found... a throwaway leprechaun hat, but it was a real kind of looking hat, not a fake looking hat. And it really did elevate the costume. People loved the leprechaun costume. Leprechaun was very big this year as well. It was in a parade on my own float as the leprechaun. So there's always a hat thing every time hats come up, because a lot of my costumes call for hats, and it's hard to get the right hat. But obviously I went digging. I found my good Lincoln hat for my presidential videos, and I did not have the right hat for Cousin Sam. Just didn't have it. And there's a costume shop over here near the job called Costume America. I called them up. I said, I'm looking for like an Uncle Sam patriotic hat, but I want a real hat. And the lady said, I have exactly what you're looking for. Come on down. But it wasn't what I was looking for. It was one of those foam deals. It was exactly like the one I already had. Because I bought 3 Uncle Sam costumes to make 1 Cousin Sam costume with the wrong hat. But she's like, you know what? Hold on a second. I think I got something in the back. So she goes to the back and she pulls out a collapsible top hat. And I'm telling you, it was perfect. It was the best hat. She's like, it's not for sale. It's only for rent. But it was one of those deals. It collapses and you pop it out. There was videos of it on my social media. Gosh, I love that hat. I really, really did love that hat. So
you gotta see what the manufacturers.
Collapsible hats from here on out. If I could have a collapsible hat for every costume, then I really think that I'd still be nowhere. But I would be nowhere with a collapsible hat.
Where'd you keep it when it was collapsed?
I kept it in my car in a box.
So I mean, like for show, you're just taking it out. You're not going to your car every time to get the hat and do the...
No, for the event, I would take it out. Yeah. I would walk up to the event, and I'd have the hat collapsed. And I'd say, all right, boys and girls, we ready? Pop! And I'd pop it out. And everybody go, oh, people love that.
Nice. That sounds fun.
As for creations for me, in addition to my Cousin Sam creation. More of the videos are dropping. PC Richard and Son are dropping more of the videos. They dropped the Memorial Day sale video where I'm Cousin Sam but with the wrong hat. And they also dropped the grill delivery video. And the Cousin Sam video did better than the grill purchasing video. So they're doing well, and they're putting money behind it. So the videos are getting some traction. I'm waiting for them to drop the Grill Daddy video. That's when I think we're going to break the internet with the Grill Daddy video.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, I saw it on my feed today. It just showed up, and it's got quite a bit of views, so I'm excited. Quite a bit of engagement. That's good.
Yeah. And that's what we're looking for. That's what we're hoping for. You went into Google, thoughts on Google VO3? I don't know nothing about Google VO.
Google VO3. So I sent you a video, it may have been last week, a short film that was entirely produced with this Google VO thing now.
Really? All right, I missed that. I don't
Google
really pay
VO
attention when you send me anything. I'm sorry.
I know. You barely show up for these podcasts. But Google VO has been a AI video competitor in the space now, kind of neck and neck with Runway, with as a video engine with some of these other video generators out there. And what they've done is they have changed how AI videos are created, the workflow for AI video creators. Whereas like on something like Runway, you submit a text prompt with an image, a reference image, and it'll generate a 5 to 10 second clip for you, and that's it. It's a lone clip. If you're able to kind of use parts of that clip and resubmit it through the prompt engine, you may be able to get another video clip that's similar or workable with the character or the theme that you're trying to get across, but not very consistent or cohesive of a process.
But you can see where it's headed in the future, and it looks substantial.
So Google VO just released and those are just videos, by the way, like that on Runway and those kind of things. So now on this Google VO, you can essentially enter text. You can have a reference image. What they have is things called ingredients. So you can have different characters, you can have different scenes, different objects. All these ingredients kind of can be combined, and you write a script, and it'll generate not only the video for you, but the audio, actors talking, music, all of that. And after that 8-second video is finished, you can actually extend that storyline. So you can use the same ingredients, and you can continue to build it out. So what people have been doing, they're kind of capped out at like 3 minutes worth of video a month. But they've been creating these 3-minute short films that look entirely consistent. They look as if they were created by multi-million-dollar budgets.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder what that means for everybody, but hopefully it won't catch up to real storytelling too quickly. But speaking of real storytelling, the Nuvee Spotlight. I went in. I didn't get through the entire thing, but I got about halfway through the film. Why don't you tell us about? I can't say the name properly, so I'll let you take it.
Kalangala Dreams by DG.
Kalangala Dreams.
So Kalangala Dreams is a coming-of-age documentary taking place in Africa about a kind of a one of the young men in the village, and his lifestyle, kind of fishing, and his thoughts on the world and his aspirations. So the logline is: the Kalangala region in Uganda depends largely on fishing. 19-year-old Ishmael is a fisherman who dreams of a different life. In a village plagued by alcoholism and hard work, we get an insight into his life, which revolves around hopes, aspirations, and camaraderie.
It caught my attention right away because I feel like the further out there, the more exotic the location for a film like this to tell a real story about how someone is living in one of these impoverished places, and it's a human story. I think that's the best chance we have for really connecting everybody and or at least making everybody have the epiphany that, wow, people live very differently depending on what situation they were born into and what part of the world they were born into. And I feel like that we get lost in that. It's very easy to get lost in your daily life, in your daily commute, if you live in the big city. And I'm talking about there's a huge difference just from living in the big city of Manhattan to out in eastern Suffolk County. And it's even more dramatic when you go to the outer reaches of, the bayou, or in southeastern Louisiana, or if you go up into big sky country off the beaten path in parts of Montana, or I've been to places way out there in North Dakota, or if you end up in the Caribbean islands and you go away from the touristy destinations. That's when you get the sense of just how big the world is. That's when you get the sense of how different this thing that we call life is for everybody. And assuming that most of the people that are going to sit down and watch a movie like that aren't going to probably ever travel to that area, I think there's tremendous value in that. I think there is a lot that does a lot for the human spirit to be exposed to it. And it's a very short thing. It was like an 18-minute film. And I think that that's important. Just as important as I think it would be to follow somebody who's a billionaire around with a camera for a day and get a sense of what their life is like, because it's the only way we're ever going to really understand how different things really are for everybody.
Yeah. We're talking about AI, but the documentary world really speaks more authentically to the kind of human experiences like you're talking about. And for this particular main character, Ishmael, we start to realize just how similar he is to us, even though he's in a completely different world, completely different country in the world, with a completely different environment. He still seems like somebody that you would talk to if you met on the street. You'd be able to have a conversation with. So highly recommend Kalangala Dreams.
Yeah, I think instantly from just the trailer and the first 5 minutes of the movie, you start to care about this guy. You start to care about Ishmael and what he's going through. And it's sad because it starts off with him, basically it sounds like he was lied to by his brother about what was going to happen when he started being a fisherman, and he didn't want to be a fisherman. He doesn't want to be a fisherman, doesn't want to do that. So when we face our daily problems, I'm sure there's lots of people doing lots of things that they don't want to do, depending on their situation here, but it doesn't really seem like he's got many options. But good call. Nuvee Spotlight, Kalangala Dreams by, DGH. And you could watch it exclusively right now, Nuku.
Only on Nuku.
Only on Nuku. Go to sleep movies. I actually wrote into the notes, ha. You said go to sleep movies. Is this disrespectful to the artist? What were you thinking when you wrote that?
I was thinking,
The floor is yours.
I cannot stand falling asleep on a film.
All right, way off, though, Jack. You're way off. I'm not falling asleep on the film having never seen it. I'm falling asleep on the film because I've seen it 2,000 times. And while I'm laying there, while my eyelids are closed and my mind is halfway between here and dreamland, I'm watching the movie in my head. I think it's a modern day or an adult substitute for a lullaby. It's like a lullaby.
Interesting.
I can't put a movie on that I've never seen late at night because I won't fall asleep. I'll be watching it unless it's boring as hell, and then I'll fall asleep. And I have fallen asleep in theaters. And listen, I'm not. Yeah, is that disrespectful for the artist? It probably is. But sorry, Jack, I don't know what to tell you. Like I didn't take a handful of sleeping pills and come to the movies. My favorite go to sleep movie. Go to sleep in a movie theater story was it was a cartoon. It was some cartoon. I went there to see it. I don't know why, but it was like called the Three Bears. I forget exactly what it was, but whatever it was like Three Bears. And I fell asleep before the freaking movie even started, and I woke up at the end credits, and I was like, it was called the Three Bears. I assumed there were bears in it. That's all I can tell you about this movie. There was probably bears, most likely 3, but that's all I got.
Put you right to sleep.
It did.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was. It wasn't good.
I guess it must just be something, you said like a lullaby where it's comfortable, you kind of understand where it's going, and you're comfortable with not seeing it through, I guess, till the end. There's something about, even if I've seen a movie 100 times, I'm going to finish it again. I don't know why.
But I think it's from the question of disrespecting the artist. Think about it this way. Prelude, a.k.a. The Devil You Don't Know. A fantastic film, also exclusively available on Nuvee Club.
Yeah.
If someone called us, if somebody popped on this show and was like, listen, I got to tell you, I put Prelude on every single night. I've seen it a bunch of times. I love the story. I love being transported into that world that you guys created, and I put it on every night. And I get varying lengths into it before I actually conk out. Sometimes I finish it, sometimes I don't. But I love the movie so much. I feel very comforted. It's a very good feeling to be transported to that world you created, and I watch it every night. You're going to be disrespected by that, or you're going to be happy? Don't lie. Don't lie.
I'm not going to be disrespected per se, but it's not going to make me feel great.
Well, nobody's watching it now. You're telling me if people called and said, I'm watching your movie, I don't care what time of day they put it on.
Because I think the question...
I'm not putting it on because it's boring. I'm putting it on... It's not putting me to sleep because it's boring, and I'm not putting it on because it's boring. I'm putting it on because I like it, and I like being transported into that world, and it's comforting, and I've seen it a million times. That's why I'm putting it on.
My course of thought or conversation would be, okay, let's talk about Prelude. Let's talk about what's interesting about it. Let's talk about, why is it comfortable to you? And then maybe I can get some insight into that person and why they like falling asleep on the film. But I don't think that that's the natural course of what you're talking about. I don't think that you...
I don't think you understand what a go-to-sleep movie is.
I don't.
Now, listen,
I really
generationally,
don't.
well, what happens when you go to sleep? So when you go into the room and it's time to go to bed, do you turn off all the lights and you sit in pitch blackness?
I will wait till I'm really tired.
Well, some of us got to get up in the morning for a job, and you can't wait till you're really tired. If I go to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning, I won't be able to get up at 7 to go to work.
No, that's what I do. That's what I do. If I have to get up early, then I'm generally pretty tired by the time I'm ready to go to bed. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And if I have to,
But do you turn the TV off?
If I am in bed and let's say it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I got to be up at 7, I'm still not going to turn anything on. If I take any kind of sleep aid, I'm probably going to sleep past 7. So I probably am just going to lay there until I fall asleep regardless. I'll lay there until 5 o'clock in the morning.
Hang on a second. When you go to bed and you turn everything off and you're just laying there with you, your bed, and your thoughts, is it easy to fall asleep or is it hard to fall asleep?
Generally easy to fall asleep.
Well, it's not like that for everybody. It's not like that for me. If I lay there with no external stimuli and it's just a quiet, empty room in darkness, or even if I wake up I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, the sun's peeking up, and I can get another hour of sleep, I won't be able to fall asleep if I'm just laying there. Because as soon as my brain starts going, I start thinking and I'm asking questions. I'm thinking about scenarios, and I can't stop it from happening. And maybe I could learn meditation, maybe. But yeah, I wouldn't take a sleep aid in that situation. I got to be up in an hour. But I want to get another couple of winks of shut-eye. So I usually go to Amazon Prime. They have the Star Trek channel, which just seems to be playing Star Trek on an endless loop. Sometimes it'll be on Next Generation, and I'll throw it on. Depending on the episode, I'll leave it on, and I'll be out in 5 minutes because I'll be on the bridge of the Enterprise. Red alert, all hands stand to battle station.
No, that wouldn't be me. If I turned it on, I'd be watching it until 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, oh, shit, now I got to go. And now I feel kind of dazed because I've been watching this show for the last 4 hours.
Sanjay, I think we can arrive at one conclusion from this conversation. Something's wrong with you.
Yeah,
Something's
definitely.
wrong with your brain. Something's wrong with the way you think. Or nothing's wrong with you and something's wrong with me, which I definitely allow for that possibility.
I've heard more people talk about fall asleep movies than just you. So okay. I know it's definitely a common thing. I wonder what it is, and I just don't get it.
What movie have you seen the most, if you could think? What movie have you seen the most?
Probably maybe the Oceans movies or...
Ocean's 11.
Maybe one of those.
So you're telling me if you put on Ocean's 11, you want to be able to fall asleep to it, you'd have to watch it?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
yeah, I'm watching till they're at the Bellagio, watching the fountain works.
Okay. That's totally fine with me. Set It Off. Tell everybody about Set It Off.
Set It Off, a film
This is Sanjay's recent favorite film.
Recent favorite film, directed by F. Gary Gray. After being fired from her job as a bank teller, Frankie, Vivica A. Fox, begins working at a janitorial service with her friends Deshawn, Kimberly Elise, a single mother, Cleo, Queen Latifah, a boisterous lesbian, and Stoney, Jada Pinkett, who is dealing with the recent death of her brother. All-star cast. The women are struggling with their finances, so they decide to start robbing banks. At first, the group is successful, but they soon attract the attention of an obsessive detective.
Okay. And had you seen it, you just saw it recently for the first time, or it just popped in your head recently?
Popped in my head. You know, it was one of the films that I've seen. It's an old film that was recommended to me. It took me a while. You know, a lot of people recommend movies to me that it always takes a while to get to them. But this was a film that was recommended that I fell in love with, not only because it shows these women at a really early point in their career, but in a character dynamic that you never see them again.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. I got to meet Vivica Fox once.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I forget what the function was, but I loved her in Independence Day. That was what I referenced when I talked to her. Stunning lady. Very nice woman. I wrote it. It's not really a movie. It's a documentary currently out on HBO Max, whatever you want to call it this week. Pee-wee himself. It's a documentary about Pee-wee Herman, Paul Reubens, the comedian. And I did not watch the Pee-wee Herman show when I was a little kid. I was aware of it. I knew who he was, but I wasn't really into it. I don't really know why. It just wasn't my cup of tea. But learning more about the man behind the character, it was kind of weird because in a lot of ways, what it made me feel, and I'm only halfway through it because it's a 2-parter documentary, but each part's like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. What it made me feel was like I felt this before, but I've never felt it more strongly. Like I probably really should have like aggressively tried to get involved in some sort of troupe or some sort of company that was doing something like that. You know, I should have gone to LA and gotten involved in something, or gone to, do the Second City thing, or because it seems like, here's a guy talking about, artistic. I was never really, I would say, like artistic, but he was artistic in that way and surrounded himself with people that were artistic, and, they would get together and they would do things and they would do improv and they would, and it was like a comedy clique, and you could see how they try so many different things, different characters. Like that's my entire, I've built a real strong niche for myself here doing characters. But I've always known that wasn't something that came out of radio. That was something that goes back a long, long ways. In fact, I remember a interview that Jackie Gleason gave a long time ago, and he was talking about his variety show when he had the Jackie Gleason show on the DuPont network, and it was skits, and his most popular characters came out of that, including Ralph Cramden for the Honeymooners. And the interviewer was asking, like, why the characters? Why did you create these characters? He's like, well, because no one has such a rich personality that people are going to come back week after week after week after week to see just you being you. And that resonated with me. And there's probably a lot of psychology in there, built in, but that thought that you can keep what you're doing fresh, keep what you're doing cutting edge, keep what you're doing interesting through characters, I think resonated with me. And no matter what it was I was doing, it was character. It's character work. Even though they're kind of offshoots of who I am, it's all character work. When you saw me doing Subway grand openings, that's a character. And yes, that character may be closely related to me, but it's not really me. And now, obviously, with the radio station, I have a bunch of them. So Pee-wee himself, the documentary, if you're that type of person, or if you grew up in that time, or you just like artistic expression, Pee-wee himself is probably worth the watch.
No, I've definitely I'm familiar with Pee-wee. Never watched his show. He always seemed I always kind of misunderstood Pee-wee, and maybe that's a common thing, especially with the controversy he faced in the public sphere. But I appreciate that there's this kind of retrospective on him now that hopefully gives a deeper insight into the man behind the character.
Yeah, and it's weird because he's passed away, and now you're watching this and you're saying, wow, there's really so much beyond the surface of that thing, which you always kind of knew, but really seeing how it was constructed and how it came together. This is a guy that he ended up, like, he really kind of built his brand, from nothing. And he built the brand of Pee Wee Herman by living the character of Pee Wee Herman. And he said there was a point where he was going out for Saturday Night Live, and in the same audition, Gilbert Gottfried was in the audition, and Gilbert Gottfried got the gig. And for Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, that was kind of like the end of, I'm going to stop pursuing Paul Rubens' career, and I'm going to shift gears and focus on Pee Wee Herman's career. And he brought that character out on talk shows. He was on The Dating Game as Pee Wee Herman. I mean, think about that. He was
That's
on
wild.
The Dating Game as Pee Wee. He won. His personality was what, you can't see the person, so the girl picked him, and then he was on, talk shows, and David Letterman became a regular guest on David Letterman's show on Channel 4.
Yep.
And and I haven't gotten to the point where it leads to him having the Saturday morning cartoon show. But yeah, I really see a lot of the way I approach things in the way that he was approaching things. So, ultimately, it's a sad story. But then he did end up as an actor in movies, not being his character. So he did ultimately get that. He did ultimately attain that goal of being an actor in movies and doing other characters. He didn't only have to be Pee Wee Herman. Let's wrap it with talks about the Kent's Film Festival, because I know you went and you brought it up here. When is that the time? Is that the time of year? Is that happening now? Is that why it's on there?
It actually just finished. It's usually a two-week festival in the middle of May.
Can you believe that you went to that? I mean, isn't that amazing?
It was such a transformative experience for me. I really, because it's not only screenings and not just networking, but it really is a marketplace, an international marketplace for films. And it really gave me a lot of perspective. I was 18 years old when I went. It gave me a lot of perspective about the business, the industry of film, and really kind of set the groundwork for Nuku as it stands today. So, it's amazing that still exists, and it's still more important than ever to have this kind of 2-week, convening in Cannes, France. I'm curious about the programming always. It's more and more people are interested in participating in notable film festivals every year, and these film festivals have to shift gears and to really figure out how to continue to be the leader in how the industry functions, kind of the direction that the industry should be moving, and that takes a lot of forward thinking, and it also requires a lot of conservatism in not necessarily adapting to some things. So it's interesting to see some of the films. The film that I was interested in is a film called Die My Love, and has Jennifer Lawrence, Lakeith Stanfield, Robert Pattinson. It's a thriller comedy about a new mother walloped by postpartum depression, deteriorating mental health, and a crumbling marriage. Huh. So it seems like like a film that I would typically enjoy. So I know that's going to be a fun one when it comes out.
For all you Brooklynites out there and city folk, I'll let you know exactly where I'm going to be. I'm actually coming to town this Saturday, Brooklyn's Atlantic Terminal. It's the Mommy Poppins Travel Fest presented by Dreams Resorts and Spas. I will be hosting the MasterChef Junior Mystery Box Challenge with Season 9 winner Bryson and with Season 8 runner-up Ivy Childs. It's a pretty big deal for me. It'll be a pretty big deal for you. It's free to come. It's free to register. And if you register, you'll have a chance to win a getaway to Dreams Resorts and Spas.
Excellent. The grill boss meets the master chef. Excellent.
Yeah, the Grill Daddy. The Grill Daddy. Although the video,
Grill Daddy.
if the Grill Daddy comes out before that, that'd be nice. That'd be exciting. What do you want to tell the people before we go, Sanjay?
If you're around paying attention to the Nuvee Club, join us tomorrow in person at Vig Bar, where we can have a more in-depth chat about your aspirations in the film industry and how we can help you at Nuku.
All right, so see them at the bar. Then if everybody that comes to the bar, you sign them up to come to the Mommy Poppins Travel Fest on Saturday, because I'm going to need all the support that I could get. For all of us here at the Nuvee Club Podcast, all of you, enjoy the rest of your week. Remember, you can see us again, same time, at Nuvee Club on Instagram. And create a profile. If you haven't done so yet, create a profile for nuku.com. Support those independent film artists. Watch some of the films, some of the best films that you'll ever see that you may never get to see anywhere else, and you can't see them anywhere else now at this point. Create your account right now. Nuku.com. That's NUKHU.com. For the Nuvee Club Podcast, I'm Big Mike. That's Sanjay Singh, and we'll catch you next time.
Take care.